it went to the point where I said, if this happens again for another 2 weeks, I'm done, and I'm gonna have to go work, find a job at a McDonald's or anything, because the money's it's almost gone.
Welcome to the Painter Growth Podcast, where we help you scale your painting company in record time. Join us as we explore sales, marketing, hiring, finances, leadership, and more, everything that you need to know to scale and grow your painting business. I hope you enjoy and subscribe. What is up, everybody? Mike Gore-Hickman here, founder of paintergrowth.com, and you are listening to the Painter Growth Podcast. And today I have a good friend of mine, client for 4 or 5 months, maybe 5 months now, Fresh Coat franchisee, Mr. Joe Martinta, coming to us from Houston, Texas.
Hey, Mike.
Stoked to have you today, man. How are you?
Good, man. Happy to be here. Thanks for inviting me, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Pleasure is all mine. So let's just rewind the clock a little bit. Let's give the listeners just a little bit of context. Tell us about, your background, how you got into Fresh Coat, and what your business was like before you started with Painter Growth.
Sure. So I've been in the painting industry for almost 20 years now. I was born and raised in Brazil, moved to the States in 2005, and I got a job as a painter's apprentice, right? They let me paint closets. That's it. So I started growing within the company, started to manage crews at one point, managing multiple crews, selling projects. And so I grew quickly, within the company I was working for. Moved to another state, moved to Texas, where I am today. And I started working for the biggest franchise in the United States for painting as a salesperson. Did really good for them, to the point that the owner of the franchise that I worked for said, "Hey, I'm going to take you to owner's training, so you can take care of everything, and I'm going to take a back seat." At that point, I realized, hey, man, if I can do that for somebody else, I might as well do it for me, right? So took my 1.5 year non-compete that I had with them, went to sell cars for a year. And I, as soon as that 1.5 year mark hit, I started, calling other painting franchises to open up my own. And, I hooked up with Fresh Coat, and it's been almost a year that I bought the franchise, but we really start working this year. So, we're about, let's say, about 7-8 months into our business life. Let's put it that way.
Okay, sweet. So 7-8 months, and you've been with us for like 4 or 5 months. So what were the first few months like then, running your Fresh Coat franchise? It wasn't quite as smooth as you wanted it to be.
No, I wish, man. So don't get me wrong, they helped me a lot, and I had, what I looked for in a franchise going in, but I was struggling big time. Like I had some money in the bank that I used to open the business and do the initial um, marketing and everything, and the leads were not coming in. And the when they did, I was doing everything that I could to sell every single one of them. Maybe selling them for cheaper than I should, to be able to get some money into the door. But it went to the point where I said, if this happens again for another 2 weeks, I'm done, and I'm gonna have to go work, find a job at a McDonald's or anything, because the money's it's almost gone. And so yeah, man, I was struggling big time.
So you joined the franchise with this dream and this belief that you would crush it because you had this experience working for that other franchise, doing sales. You had the skill, but when push came to shove, when it came to doing it for yourself, just something wasn't clicking.
Correct. Yeah, that's a very good way to point it out.
Yeah. How did that feel at the time, like having that kind of stutter step start?
Man, it made me doubt everything. Like, am I cut for this? Do I really know how to sell painting jobs? I said, I have all this evidence behind me, but like, how come now it's not working? And so it was very rough. I really thought that at various points, I said, "Man, I made a mistake. This is not going to work out."
Yeah. So you're running the business for a few months. How did you end up finding Painter Growth?
So I saw your ads on Facebook probably 1,500 times.
That's it.
No. So they work. If you have any doubt that your ads are working, they do. So I saw your ads, and at first I was skeptical because there's a bunch of fake gurus out there that promise everything, and so I was skeptical. And then one thing that caught my attention was the money back guarantee. I said, well, well, let me give this guy a chance. Let me book a call. Let's let them do their pitch. And I'm a sales guy. It's hard for people to pull one over me because I know the tricks. Let's put it this way. So I said, let's schedule a call. Let's see what they're all about, and I'll give them a honest chance.
Awesome. So what was that process look like? You ended up booking a call, you watched some videos, and then you got on with Brian, I think.
Yes, I believe so. Yeah, so watch a couple of videos, a couple of testimonials, and booked the call. And Brian explained to me kind of what the program was about. Not in too much detail, but enough where I felt comfortable taking the next step, which would be a call with you. And I said, well, let's keep going. Let's keep going. Let's keep moving.
Okay. So you're like, let's do this. Let's join the program. Let's make a financial commitment, even though you didn't have a ton of money to invest at the time. I mean, how did you go about making that decision to spend thousands of dollars on something that you couldn't necessarily afford?
Well, one thing that helped me was that you offered some plans, at the time. Uh, so that helped me out a lot. And but I mean, I was scared, man. I'm gonna be 100% honest with you. I gave you my rent money. Let's put it this way. If it didn't work out, like I was gonna be, I wasn't gonna pay the mortgage. It's so it had to work out. I wasn't, it was my last option, right? It was my last resort. I said, do I spend this money that I really don't have it, and make it something work, or do I hold to it for dear life and keep watching it go away little by little, like I have been doing for the last 3 months? So I said, something, it's gonna change. I need to do something different. So I made a decision.
So you identified, which is difficult for many people to do, that doing the same thing over and over isn't going to get you a different result, right? That's like the definition of insanity, right? I'll just
Right.
finish a couple more jobs and then I'll be happy. Then my business will be good.
Absolutely.
So you made the commitment, you invested, in us and also in yourself, obviously. What happened next?
I got access to the program, right? And I start eating the content, man. Like I would book out 2 hours on my schedule and just like do everything that was available and come up with with action items to go after. And that's one thing that people have asked me. Um, you know, do you think that his program works? I said, if you're willing to do the work, it will work. If you're just waiting for a magic pill, there's no magic pill. So but yeah, so I started eating the content. I started, you know, making action items and going after them, and I started seeing, things changing right away.
So you mentioned the training. What other parts of the program, what other resources of ours did you use to help you get a quick start?
Man, I think one of the most important things, one of the greatest things, is the live calls, and like the peer-to-peer connection that you make with other people that aren't in a similar situation as you are. Maybe they're a little ahead in the game, maybe they're a little behind you, and just a sense of friendship, and like people from other states who could, or close by, that could be considered almost your competitor, and like they're, you help each other, and um, they make each other feel better about their wins and stuff like that. That was huge.
I think the word you're looking for is camaraderie.
Correct, man.
Yeah, I think that's what you just defined. So you have the community, the calls, the coaching, the support. What types of results did you see in the first 30 days? And was it worth it?
Oh yes, because we wouldn't be here. I would be flipping burgers at McDonald's if it was. But yes, right away. Like I said, I had sales training, sales background, um, and it was just getting that reinforcement on like techniques and stuff that I had maybe left aside. It was just that, hey man, you should be doing X, Y, and Z to close more jobs and to close them at a higher profit margin. you know and when I started doing that, those things started to fall in place. I started to land more projects. The projects that I was landing for a better dollar amount, so that started helping the business, and I was able to get money to reinvest in the business on the marketing side. And so yeah, right away I started to see results.
How did those results materialize? What did those results look like in your business?
Man, I
Like
don't have the number.
what happened to your revenue over the next 3 months, kind of month by month?
Before I had started the program, my best month was $9,000 of work produced. The first month that I got into the program, I think I doubled that. Then the second month, for like 5-6 weeks in, I had a $17,000 production week. So in 5 to 6 weeks, I doubled my entire best month in a week.
Amazing.
Yeah. So then from then on, it just went up. So I had a $40,000 month, a $50,000 month, and just kept getting better.
And this week was pretty special for you too. You
Yep,
posted in the community.
that was a record week for us. It's the first time we booked 6 figures of work in a week. So this week from Sunday, because somebody called me on Sunday, hey Joe, I want to go ahead. From Sunday to today, we booked just shy of $108,000 of work that we now have. I have collected deposits for it, and we're gonna produce in the next 3 weeks.
Now, with all these things happening in your business, growing your business by over $10,000 per month, every month, and just adding to that, these bookings that you're getting, how do you feel about your business now? How do you feel about the future of your business?
Oh man, the way I see it, is the only way is up. Keep going. I think we mentioned this before during one of the calls in the program. I keep moving the goal now. My goal was to make $350,000 by the end of the year, and then was 500, and now I keep pushing it because that goal is not it's not realistic anymore. I don't want to just set something that we're gonna crush it. I want to set something that we're gonna push to get it.
So what is your annual goal this year now? So it started at being 350 is what your original goal was.
350. So now we more than doubled that goal because it went to 750.
That's wicked. That's wicked. So we're just wrapping up August now, August 2023. What are you going to end this month for production?
For this month production, we're gonna end probably like just shy of
85,000. So you got $1 million business now. You're $1 million run rate in production.
That's the plan, man, to get there as quickly as possible.
You went basically from $100,000 run rate in production to $1 million run rate in production in like 5 months.
Yeah,
Yeah, 9K
basically.
a month to 85K a month.
Yep.
It's pretty insane.
Yeah, man.
So, I mean, what would you say to someone who's listening to this, who's like, you know what, that's great for Joe, but he already worked for another franchise. He had the experience selling. He, knows how to close deals, and you have the backing of your franchise, which obviously, Fresh Code offer a whole bunch of support too. What would you say to someone who's like, Joe can do it, but he's different. I can't do it because, I'm all alone, or I don't have the
Um,
experience that Joe has.
no, man. I'm not. I'm not different. I'm not special in any way. I mean, I'm a painter. I've been a painter. I pushed tools for a long time. I'm lucky now that I don't have to do it anymore because I work up to that. But there's nothing special about me or Fresh Code, or like I'm doing this alone as well. Let's put it this way. It's you just have to have enough will to follow, you know, what you promise you're going to do. It's to say, if you want to run a successful business, there's a lot of work involved, and you just got to be willing to do the work. And I would say, with all the help that I had with Fresh Code and all the knowledge that I had from having been in the business and working for other companies, I'm not going to say that it didn't help me at all, but it wasn't enough that was going to keep my business alive at that point. So somebody who's looking into getting into this and think that I'm an outlier, that this would be something that only happened to me, I would disagree. I think this can happen to anyone as long as they're willing to put the work.
What are some of the things that you had to relearn in order to 10x your business this year?
um Processes, basically, like go back to the basics, and do what works, what's proven to work, and don't try to reinvent the wheel. Just put better spokes on it. Like something that that works. Just better that system and make it a process that you can just repeat and repeat, and you see that the results. You can collect the data, basically. You did it enough times, and it's going to work.
Yeah, I mean, that's huge. I think that's something that so many people are just really not, not super eager to do, is to start from scratch again and just go back to the basics. They've gone through their business for whatever, 1, 3, 5, 10, 20 years, and they've learned certain ways to do it. And even if they're not working, it's hard to want to, eat that humble pie, right? And relearn things that you already know.
Yep. Yeah, and I
So
had a bumpy period here. Even after I started the program, I had to take almost a month off away from my business, and my business is not in a position that it can run without me. And I say, man, everything's gonna crumble again, and so I had to. I think we even had a conversation where I said, man, I'm basically gonna restart the program from zero again, and do it all over, just to make sure that it doesn't stop me, and it has worked.
you had a family emergency. You had to fly down to Central America for uh, 4 or 5 weeks, and your
Yeah.
business just kind of fizzled out. And this was just 2 months ago.
Hmm.
Yeah, how did you deal with that emotionally, knowing that you were going to come back to a business that was, a fraction of like the momentum that you had been building over the, that previous quarter?
It sucked. It really did. It wasn't fun. So, but again, is what you said. A lot of people don't want to, are afraid of starting from zero again, and and that's what I saw as. If it wasn't absolute zero, but even if it was, it had to be done. It was either that or go work for somebody else. And I made a promise to myself that I'm gonna be my own boss, and I'm gonna take care of the stuff the way I believe it's the right way of doing it. And so yeah, I had to make it work.
So what type of so then you were gone for 5 weeks. You came back. What state was your business in when you finally you came back to Texas?
So all of the work that we had booked before I left was done, and I had no more work lined up to it. So it was back to marketing and sales. Let's book some work to get started again. Yeah, it
How did
was
that feel? I guess knowing that you had the blueprint system in your back pocket, the painter growth system that you could just plug it in and
that's
use.
that's probably the only reason why I didn't give up. Because if I had to figure it out by myself again, I don't think after what had happened, I would have the energy or the mindset to do it. And honestly, if I didn't have that, I probably wouldn't have done. So I'm lucky and fortunate enough that I did have that in my back pocket, and I just pulled it out and I put it to work.
Yeah. Yeah. And then you went from, so what day did you land back in Texas?
Oof, man.
'Cause I think this is kind of important for context.
So let me go back, if you don't mind. Give me 2 seconds,
Yeah, no,
and I'll
because
tell you
you
exactly.
you as you're doing that, like you joined Blueprint, you joined our program, you got momentum over a couple of months, you started to see some growth. I think you said you had like 50 or $60,000 in a month before you left. And then you had to go, you had to leave immediately for a family emergency. You're gone for 5 weeks. Your crews produced all the work that you had booked in that meantime. You came back 5 weeks later, and then you landed back in Texas on.
Man, it was beginning of July, I think, middle of July.
So like 6 weeks ago.
Yeah, like something like that.
And you rallied, you knew what you had to do, and as a result, you're going to produce $90,000 this month.
Yep. So we kept. I set a goal, man. If I want to make this work, we have to sell 25K a week and produce as close to it as we possibly can. And that's what I did. That's what I went after. And uh, if I paid for a lead, let's say it's Google or Facebook, whatever it was, man, these people had to tell me to go away before I stopped asking them for the project.
That's incredible. That's super motivating. And why didn't you when you came back, why didn't you just do the things that, other people told you would work, like Facebook ads and Google ads? Why didn't you just crank a bunch of money into that and just sit back and wait for leads to come in, or Angie's List or Home Advisor? Why didn't you just buy leads?
So I didn't have that luxury, even if I wanted to. Like, if you stay 5 weeks without work, all your bills still come in. So and so I didn't have like any extra money. All the extra money that I thought I would have to pump back into the business, um, I didn't. I didn't have it. And basically, like I said before, going back to the basics, that stuff has worked for me more than any other avenue
Yeah.
of marketing.
So, what would you say to someone who, is struggling in their painting business? Maybe they've been stuck at 5 or 10,000 a month for years, or maybe they're just getting started, but they don't have a big nest egg to spend on. They don't have tons of savings. Like, how should they spend that money, and how should they, follow in your footsteps on the growth that you've seen?
So what I'd say is the best investment they can ever do, it's in yourself. Meaning, you need to learn more stuff to have be able to change things. If you keep doing stuff the same way that you have, you're gonna get the same results that you got. Um, and I know it's scary, and it should be scary. If it's not scaring you to do something different, you're probably not looking into the right things to do. it's one of those things. You have to do something very different to get very different results. So, and that's what I'm trying to get at, saying it should be scary, but it's worth it.
So, what do you mean it's worth it? Like joining Blueprint?
Yes,
Yeah.
for one, absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
Joining Blueprint, man, it's
Yeah.
I'm gonna say again, man, if it wasn't for Blueprint, I wouldn't have a business right now. Is that simple?
Yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, I appreciate it. And I wish that all our clients were students like you, and implemented everything really hard. That would be, really well and consistently. And if everyone did that, my job would be easy, at least a lot easier.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what's you've upped your goals now. So now that you've revised up your goals, what's the plan moving forward? How are you going to continue taking your business to the next level?
So right now I'm basically a one man show on the office side, right? I have painters that do the production. They actually put paint on the walls. But I do sales, I do marketing, I do back office, I do everything. So plan now, it's as the business grows, is to bring in people to help me out with the sales, with probably first hire would be probably like a project manager that can handle production, and I'll stick to doing sales and more of the marketing. But that's what's going to allow us to go from 750 to a million, 2 million, and over.
Yeah, I like to say it like you can hustle your way to 1 million, but hustling any further than that, you need the right people in place.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. That's awesome, man. So what type of advice would you have to a painting contractor? I mean, obviously, join Blueprint, but if that's just, out of their realm of possibility right now, what should they do to get started?
Don't be afraid to do the work that quote unquote sucks. Like nobody wants to go put door hangers out. Nobody wants to go talk to people. But that's that grassroots marketing stuff works very well, and because at the end of the day, you need to sell painting projects to be able to actually put paint on the wall and get paid. So don't get too caught up in all of the hype that's online, and the newest Facebook strategy to get leads and this and that. The basics work very well, and I'd say that's a good place to start. And so you can have some money, some funds under you, so you can then start to branch out and do not only what you have been doing that has been working. Don't stop that, but add on to it.
Yeah. Inspirational, man. That's such a cool thing that you've been able to do to your business. I'm just, humbled that we were able to be part of that growth. I'm sure you would have found your success eventually. You're a very smart guy, but I'm happy that we were able to get you there, just that much quicker.
Nah, man, I'm happy that I saw one of your Facebook ads. I'm happy that I spoke to your team, and I'm ultimately happy that I joined the program, because again, I wouldn't have a business without it, man. I appreciate you very much.
Right on. Well, thanks for coming on, Joe. Appreciate you. Looking forward to seeing you in the calls and seeing what you're going to be able to do next year. I mean, it's up and away. Number one Freshco franchisee by end of next year. How does that sound?
That's the plan, man.
Let's roll. Let's do it. Awesome. Thanks again, Joe.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you, Mike.
Thanks for listening to the Painter Growth Podcast. If you want to grow your painting business, go to www.paintergrowth.com or click on the top link in the description. Talk soon.